Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently about, I looked at the clock right before I came out here, 5:37 or 5:38 on Tuesday evening, and I am rushing around to get stuff done because as soon as I get done with this vlog, I'm going to jump in the shower and get ready, and then Alex is going to take me to Tanya Jean's, and then Tanya Jean and I are going to our home group tonight because she is free tonight. She doesn't have a bunch of stuff to do. So I'm very excited about that. I talked to Tanya last night on the phone for a long time. She was like, okay, meetings this week, because we always like coordinate our meetings. And I was like, okay. And she was like, do you want to go tomorrow night? I was like, tomorrow night, you're free? You don't have anything to do? She was like, no, I can go tomorrow night. She was like, or Wednesday night, or Thursday afternoon, or Friday afternoon, or Saturday afternoon, or Sunday evening. And I go, which one do you want to go to? She goes, or all. I go, or all? She goes, or we could go to all. We started laughing. So I said, well, let's start with tomorrow night. And I said, let me see how I feel when I get up tomorrow and whatever. So I got up today and I was in a great mood. So I texted her and I was like, are we still on for tonight? And she was like, yeah. I said, do you want to do tonight or do you want to do tomorrow night? And she was like, let's do tonight. And I was like, okay. So yeah, so I'm real excited about that. I'm real excited to hang out with Tanya Jean, get out of the house for a little bit, go see some of my friends. And incidentally, it was funny because I got up and I filmed my drama video first. And I had been I had put it on the back burner, this sober video that I wanted to do. And so I was like waiting for Tanya to text me back like while I was making this video, and I made this whole video about my sobriety today over on my drama channel, kind of inspired by me watching 28 Days when I was in Florida. I think I talked to you guys about that and said that I had like made some notes and I wanted to make this video about it. So yeah, I made that video today. I actually thought it'd be like 20 or 30 minutes long because I was really just going to talk about the movie. But I could honestly, people ask me all the time, they're like, you know, you should start a channel just talking about sobriety and recovery, and that's kind of what my Peterisms channel is, so to speak. I mean, I talk a lot about, you know, sober and recovery issues over there. I really like to talk more about sobriety and recovery over there, but I don't really know, like, what percentage of my audience watching those videos are interested in that. Interestingly enough, though, when I do a specific video just about sobriety over there, it does better than most of my videos. So that's interesting. But I also don't really know what people want to know about, you know, like, I mean, I've been sober for over 29 years now, and so it's kind of ingrained in everything that I do. So for, you know, me to do videos every day, I don't think that way. Like, I don't think, like, what's it like to interact? I mean, you guys think of things that I wouldn't think of, if that makes sense. Like, I did talk about today, like, because one of the questions I'll get a lot when I do Q&As or when Alex and I do Q&As together is, what's it like for you, like, if Alex drinks around you or because Alex drinks around you? And I get that question a lot. And so I talked about that today in that video. But, like, that question, I feel like, is a question that I would kind of expect to receive from people, you know? Especially people that maybe are not sober, or people that have friends that are sober, or family members that are sober. My neighbor's running because she's getting ready for the mini marathon. Or, you know, that they're really asking indirectly for themselves, like, how do you interact with people that are sober? And so I kind of addressed that today and talked about, like, when I was in early sobriety, I really couldn't be around people. I mean, I could. It wasn't like if somebody was drinking in front of me, I was like, give me that, I gotta have it. Now, I do know people that have been like that. I don't know why I wasn't, but I wasn't around a lot of people that were drinking in early sobriety. I just wasn't, you know? And for quite some time, you know? I think the first thing I went to sober that there was quite a bit of drinking was at my cousin's wedding. And so I got sober December 17th of 1994. My cousin got married. I don't know what her anniversary is, but it's in June. It's in the middle of June. So I would have been sober about 6 months, and I went with my mom to that. And I can remember, like, talking to my sponsor before and being like, okay, I'm going to this wedding. And he's like, who are you going with? And I was like, my mom. And she'd been sober like 2 weeks. My mom, incidentally, though, very much believed there's this kind of perception of a lot of people that have been around for a long time in sobriety, that believe that the desire has been lifted from us. That once you get sober and you work steps, the desire to use has been lifted from you, and that you'll like move away from alcohol like from a hot flame on a fire kind of thing. My mom really believed that once she got sober and she did her steps and was really actively working a program, which she did right away. And so she really believed that like right when she got sober, made the decision to get sober, that the desire to use was lifted for her. So she never really felt, like she never had a difficult time being around alcohol. I don't remember that. I remember my mom and I having a blast at that wedding and had a really great time. I did have a date. I remember afterwards with this guy, I remember who it was and everything. He lives in Chicago now. And I had a date with him, and so my mom and I left, and then I took her home, and then I went and got ready for this date. I remember that. But I just remember laughing on the way home and talking about how much fun we had, and Caroline's aunt and uncle on her dad's side were there, and we sat with them, and Caroline's cousin that has been in some of my videos and stuff, like we sat with her, and she was in the wedding, but we sat with her, and it just was such a good time. I just remember that was like my first situation. But like when I would go on dates in early sobriety and stuff like that, I dated this guy, and I've talked about him because he passed away. I found out a couple years ago, Todd, and I'm actually thinking about doing a whole video about him, because his family didn't have a funeral for him. There was never an obituary or anything, and I feel like he deserves a little bit more honor than all of that. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he was gay, and I think that they never really accepted that. And I to this day am not really sure how he passed away, but at one point he had been very involved in drugs, and I don't know if it was he died as a result of that. I know that his partner died before him. I don't know if it, was other things, and that they were ashamed and embarrassed of that. But like, they didn't put out an obituary notice, anything. I found out through his Facebook, and then found out it was from his friend, his close friend from high school. And she told me, she's like, oh, Todd and I used to talk about you all the time, and he always wondered what happened to you. And that's a whole story, because he and I would like talk or see each other, every couple of years. But anyway, yeah, and so the last time I saw him, it was not good. It was, and he wasn't really hearing it from me. But anyway, what was I saying about that? So I dated him. The first guy that I dated right out of treatment, he would go out, but he was very considerate. Like, he would have like a beer, and then he would come back to my apartment. Like, he would come to Indianapolis, and like he would go out, because he would come on Sunday nights sometimes, which was like this gay night, Sunday nights. And he would go out for like an hour or two to meet up with some of his friends, because he didn't live in Indianapolis, and so he would come here to meet with them and then like go out with me. He'd come here like on a Saturday and a Sunday, and then he would go out like on a Sunday for like an hour and then come back. But he would like brush his teeth and everything. He was like super considerate. He'd be like, if you don't want me to drink, I won't drink. The second guy that I dated, Todd, he smoked pot a lot, but he would never smoke it around me. But I would know, because he'd show up like 2 hours late, and I could tell he was high when he showed up and stuff like that. And that was a huge issue between us. And then I didn't date anybody. Well, I went on a date for the wedding, and that guy was like a friend of mine through some other people that I'm still friends with today. And but I don't remember him drinking or anything. And then that was when my sponsor was like, around that time, was like, how about you do it my way? And I didn't date anybody for a long time. And then my first boyfriend, which is like, when I talk about like my 3 relationships, it was him, and then my ex, and Alex. My first boyfriend, he would drink sometimes, but not a lot. He was super, super respectful. And so was my roommate at the time, who she and I actually partied a lot. And then when I got sober, she was super supportive of me. And then my ex, he drank before I met him. Not a lot, but he drank a little bit. And when we started dating, he was really, really respectful of my sobriety. He would never drink around me. It wasn't like at that time I really cared. I can remember towards the end of our relationship, like when we would go on trips and stuff like that, he would have drinks. And I didn't really care, because we had been together for so long at that point, and I was around people that drank and whatever. And then what was weird about that, though, was at the beginning, I can remember I would say to him, like, if it's just the 2 of us that are going out, because we would go out to Louisville a lot, and I didn't know people down there. And so when it was just the 2 of us, I would ask him, I'd be like, can you not drink? Because I don't really know anybody else, and I, want to be like on the same level as you and whatever. And so he wouldn't drink because of that. But like later I didn't ask him not to drink, and he was never like a big drinker. But what's so weird is after we broke up, like 6 months or a year later, he started dating this guy, and they were real into Jimmy Buffett, and he would like post pictures. He's not even on Facebook anymore, but I don't think he is. And he would post like pictures on Facebook, like of them just like drunk as skunks at Jimmy Buffett. I mean, he's not an alcoholic, so it's his business, but at Jimmy Buffett concerts and stuff. And then I talked about Alex in my video today, and I think the hardest thing for Alex was, like, when I was with my ex, I was still working in treatment. So he got it a lot because, well, both of my exes, because it was like every day it was people I talked to and whatever. With Alex, I met Alex at the time that I wasn't going to meetings. That was the 4 years that I was like, so he came into it at kind of like a weird time in my sobriety. I talked in my video today about how I reached out to friends of mine and that like I had drank with and partied with back in the day, and asked them to like write letters, like paragraph, like, can you write a paragraph or something, like explaining like if you think I need to be sober. And I, honest to God, I thought none of these people are going to write back or remember me using or whatever. And like all of them wrote back, and I mean, except for a few. And we're like, oh, you were horrible, and I was worried about you all the time, and I'm so thankful that you're sober today. Everybody was like, I'm so happy that you're sober today, and you're like, have this amazing life. Every single one of them. Because I wanted like Alex to hear it from like people that, you know, used to party with me. And then after that, like, he just really, like, you know, read the literature and asked a lot of questions. I remember him asking Tanya a lot of questions. And my sponsor at the time, I can remember we went to Tennessee. We used to go to Lake Norris, Tennessee, all of us together. My sponsor would go with us, the one that passed away, the one I had for 12 years. And I remember Alex and him sitting down and like talking, and Alex asking him a lot of questions about, you know, like his sobriety, and they were supposed to be done today. About all that kind of stuff. But anyway, and yeah, Alex has just been fantastic since then. But I've been like, you know, that's always interesting to me when I get that question, because from like a sober person's point of view, like I have friends of mine that like maybe their spouse drinks, or maybe their spouse doesn't drink, but they'll have like a full bar in their house. Like when people come over, they entertain and stuff. I mean, we don't have that, but we have bottles of wine in the kitchen, you know, and whatever. It doesn't, I don't, like I said in the video today, if I'm thinking that something that Alex is drinking, like I want it that bad, then I really need to check and see like what's going on with me. There's obviously something deeper going on with me that I need to work on. It's not about the drink at that point. So anyway, so I made that video, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. When I got done with that video, I think was when she either texted me during the video or after I got done, I can't remember, but anyway, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time to film a bunch of videos. I should probably just film my vlog now. So I was gonna come downstairs, start rendering it and uploading it. It's uploading right now. And then I was gonna film my vlog because I wanted to make sure I had enough time to take a shower and get ready and everything. Texted Alex and was like, do you care to take me over to Tanya's? He was like, no, not at all, babe. And so, I came downstairs. Well, I had gotten all these Amazon packages, and my neighbor was like, you got 8 packages now? And I was like, oh. I had all these packages on the front porch, packages in my mailbox. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to open these packages. And so, to be honest with you, I didn't even remember half of what I ordered. And so I did this huge Amazon haul over on my Peter Does Stuff channel. A lot of it was review stuff. And so I cleaned all that stuff up. Alex came in at the very end of me filming that video. And then I cleaned all that stuff up, put it all away, I got a bunch of these weird sodas. I put the sodas in the refrigerator and stuff like that, and got it all put away, all the boxes broken down and then recycling. And then I had on, next to the computer, I had these mac and cheese candy canes that I had bought from Amazon to review. And I was like, okay, I'm running late on time. At that point, it was like, I think it was like 5 o'clock, and I was like, I'm running late on time, but I was uploading the haul, rendering it to get ready to upload it. And so I was like, I'm just gonna come out here and do this, because Alex is upstairs and laying in bed looking at TikToks and stuff. So I was like, I'm just gonna come out here real quick and do this review. I was like, I'm either gonna do a review or Peterson's channel video, because I was like, I gotta try to get as much stuff as I can get done today, because I want to feel productive, right? So, I wanted to do a bunch of laundry earlier, but the water was turned off in our neighborhood, so I'm gonna have to do it tonight. So I came out here and I filmed that review video real quick, and then went inside and rendered it, and it's uploading. The Peter Does Stuff video, the haul is uploading, and the Peter Monn video is uploading, and hopefully those 3 will be ready to post before I leave. And then the vlog will be, I'm gonna render it while I'm getting ready, and then upload it while I'm gone, and then when I get home, it'll be ready to post. So there, 4 videos that I did today. It looks like it's going to pour down rain over here. Looks really, really bad. Tani doesn't love to drive in the rain, so it'll be interesting if I go inside. She might say either that she'll have Eric take us, or might say let's not do tonight because it's supposed to rain. I do think it's supposed to rain really bad. It's like super, super dark over here. But all the trees are coming out. It's so beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see here, but I don't know if you'll be able... It takes like a second for it to focus, but... Can you see the sky in the background, how dark it is? Oh, look, this is what happens to the tripod. Okay, let me fix the tripod really quick while I'm turning you around. Sometimes it just slides down real quick. So yeah, and I've just been relaxing and stuff today. I've been opening the windows. Our house is a little dusty inside. Not bad, but a lot. And so I was looking, and it just happened, like, overnight. And so I was, like, looking online, because I said to Alex, I said, did you notice that it seems kind of dusty in here today? And he was like, yeah. Well, we just changed our HVAC filter not too long ago, so I don't know if it's that, but we're going to change, and I bought a bunch of them online. So we're going to change that. But then I had, like, the screen door open, and it seemed to make it a little bit better. But I was like, I don't know what happened just in the last 24 hours. And I was looking online, and it said when it's like high pollen season that like you can carry, like when you're opening and closing the door a lot, which I do, taking Boo out and coming out here to film videos and stuff like that and whatever, that can kind of be it. And sometimes you have to clean your windows and stuff. So we're going to clean the windows this weekend, change the HVAC and stuff. I mean, it's not like super dusty, but it's just like, it's probably that across the street is what it is. I think they're almost done. So I was talking to my neighbor today and he said they're supposed to be done like, I think they were supposed to be done yesterday or today. So... But if they're doing that kind of stuff, that doesn't sound like they're done to me. He was doing gardening stuff earlier, the guy that's doing the kitchen, because he was like, maybe he was just doing her a favor or something because he was bringing pots around and whatever. So yeah, and then other than, I wanted to do laundry because we got a bunch of towels to do, but I'll do that tonight when I get back. So last night, I finished Murder Under the Friday Night Lights, and really sad, the last two. They're very current ones, the last season. I think the season just came out or something because it was like, one was 2021 and the other one was 2015. They were very interesting though, very good. So I finished that. I think it's like an ongoing season. I think another season will come out next year or something like that. I'm assuming, I don't really know. So I finished that. And then I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to watch. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go back to watching Fear the Walking Dead. So, I'm on season 7. There's 8 seasons total. There's like little bugs around and bees and everything. I think spring is definitely here. And I would stop this, but I'm like on a time crunch right now, so I know it's loud in the background. He'll stop in just a second. He doesn't work for very long. These guys, it's a man and a woman, and they are so nice, and their kitchen is beautiful. The work they do is like unbelievable, and they are so nice. So anyway, so I started watching Fear the Walking Dead last night. Well, I lit some candles. What did I do first? Oh, I read my graphic novel. I listened to a little, what do you call it? Murder Road. Oh, I talked on the phone quite a bit last night. Took a little bit of a nap, all that kind of stuff. And then so I started watching Fear the Walking Dead probably around 12:30 or something like that. And I watched... So I'm on the final episode of season 7. I started it's episode 16. I started it last night and I was like, no, I'm saving it for tomorrow. Because I think it's the one when the mom comes back. I don't even remember what her name is anymore. And that's so crazy. So I watched 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I watched 5 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead last night. I'm so into it. It's so funny that... It's so funny that do you guys remember when I was so into it before? And I was like, oh my god, I love The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. And I stopped watching it forever. And when I started watching it the other night, I was like, I started watching episode 11, or maybe it was episode 10. I think I had to watch 8, 9, and 10, or 9 and 10 or something. I don't remember what episode I started on. But anyway, I started watching it and I was like, I don't remember where I left off. And so I like went back and looked a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm totally like, I remember everything about it. Madison, that's the mother's name. Alicia and Madison. So, Where I left off is where all the boats, the rafts leave, and then they leave Alicia behind. And then she sees, like, that girl. I don't want to give it away, but anyway. And then she, like, walks off. And so now it's the finale of season 7. And then season 8 is the final season. And I think there's 12 episodes in there. And so, because I think there were 6, and then it came back, and there was another 6 with the finale. So I'm going to start watching that tonight, too, when I get home. I'm going to watch the final episode of this, and then I'm going to go right into and start watching season 8. And then finish Fear the Walking Dead. And then by the end of this week, I should be watching, finish Fear the Walking Dead. And then by the end of this week, I should be watching The Walking Dead. And I looked last night. Okay, I'm on season 7, first episode of season 7. And I looked, and there's like 12 seasons, I think. I got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think there's like 12 or something like that. I've got so many seasons to watch. But I'm kind of excited about it, in all honesty. I made a list last night of all the shows that, like, I want to go in and finish. So, Fear the Walking Dead, The Walking Dead. I have 1 season of The Real Housewives of Miami to watch. I'm going to go in after that and finish that. Then, Below Deck Mediterranean. I'll probably watch those simultaneously. Below Deck Mediterranean, I have, like, 2... I think I have 1.5 seasons. Okay, I have Last of 5. And then all of 6. Was this the 8th season? I either have 2.5 seasons or I have 1.5 season to watch, but that's fine because I'll fly right through those. I love Below Deck Mediterranean. Then when I finish Below Deck Mediterranean, I'm going to start watching Below Deck. So yeah. I went through and I made in my phone, and I made a note of, like, all the dates, like, all the Fridays between last Friday and through the end of the year, and I have a list of all these movies for Tubi. I'm, like, having so much fun with that. I mean, this is corny little idea of watching movies together. Like, I'm having such a good time about. I'm, like, in my head, like, thinking about this one comment that I got. You know, I just want to say this. There's, like, okay, and I'm just gonna make this real short, you know? It's interesting to me, like, I think sometimes I can't tell if it's people are sarcastic. It's just a few. It's like 2 or 3, right? Like, I can't tell if people are sarcastic or if it's just their tone. But, like, when every comment that you leave, and I'm not talking about, like, I hate you, whatever. I'm not talking about those kind of comments. I'm talking about, like, when every comment that you leave is, like, negative and you leave a lot of comments, like, I'm confused, okay? Like, if I say, we're gonna watch Night of the Comet, and then I'm just making this up. I'm just, because I don't want anybody to know who I'm talking about. Because the person's like, look, these 2 or 3 people have watched my channel for a long time, but all 3 of them do the same thing, and I'm very confused about it. Like, I'm like, is this sarcasm, or are you just really a negative person? Because it's like, I can say, we're gonna watch Night of the Comet, and their comment underneath there, everybody will be like, oh, that movie was so stupid, it was hilarious, or, oh, this will be fun, or, I wish I could watch, but I'm not going to. And their comment will be like, I hate that movie, it's stupid. And then, like, whatever food I will review, they'll go, oh, that looks gross, that looks nasty, I would never eat that, why are you eating that? And then on my vlog, and it's like across all my channels, you know, and it's like on my booktube channel, whatever book I talk about, they'll be like, that doesn't look interesting to me at all, I would never read that. And then on my vlog, it's like, you've told that story 5 times. I mean, it's your life. You tell the stories you want to tell. And I'm like, every comment that you leave across all my... I don't know if it's just that some people out there are, like, just, like, real negative. But that's where I try not to, like, read into the comments too much. Because I don't know, like, where that person's coming from. Like, when you meet somebody, you know, you don't really know what their day's like, what their life's like, right? But I'm like, there's a couple people out there. And I'm like, people are like, just block them. Well, I have a hard time blocking somebody when I look. And they've left, like, 19 comments, you know, on my Peterisms channel, or 63 comments on my vlog, and I'm like, they've been around for a long time. But then when I go and I look, and it's like every comment is like that, right? Like, oh, that's disgusting, I would never, I mean, never once, like, oh, I love this, never one, not one comment like that. And I don't think they're part of that group that, you know, that I said I'm not gonna talk about anymore. I just think they're really negative people, and in all honesty, like, and I'm not talking to that group that I said I wasn't going to talk about anymore. I'm talking just about, you know, I make videos because I want people to enjoy them and find them fun, and if you're somebody that, like, every video of mine that you watch, like, whatever book I talk about is never a book that you would read. Whatever TV show I talk about is never a show you would watch. Whatever stories I've talked about in my vlog you've heard 9 million times. You know, whatever I review is never a food you'd try or whatever. Whatever my drama is you're talking about, you always put yawn or bored or whatever. Like, in all honesty, like, I don't think you're one of the people that dislikes me. I think you like me, but I think you have a negative perception of the world, and that makes me sad, and I wish you'd go find something that made you happy. You know, I don't know, it just makes me sad. I don't understand. I'm not gonna block them, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just not, because I have had people in my life like that. Like, honest to God, like, I've had several friends of mine, it's like, no matter what you tell them, it's like, if you say, oh, you know, you're going to Hawaii on Sunday, aren't you excited? Well, I mean, I wish we were leaving on Friday. Hey, you should come over. We're going to have chili dinner on Monday. Chili? We had chili the last time. Well, we're going to have cornbread this time. Oh, well, I would rather have garlic bread. Then fucking get garlic bread. You know what I mean? I love having these conversations with Caroline because she just shuts it down real quick with people, you know? Where it's like, oh, you know, I got your favorite chocolate cake. It's not my favorite anymore. I used to like it, but I don't like it anymore. Have you ever had somebody like that in your life? Like, literally nothing that you can say or do makes them happy. And you know it has nothing to do with you. It has literally nothing to do with you. Like, when I read these people's comments, because it's the same 2 or 3 people, and I've seen them leave these comments for, like, the last 2 years. I've noticed it, right? And it's almost comical, like, when I'm reading through and it's comment, and they're like, oh, I would never watch that movie. That movie looks stupid. And I'm like, literally every comment that you leave is so... Are you, like, one of the most negative people in the world? Like, seriously? Life is a gift. It really is, you know? I mean, there are a lot of people that are fighting for their life every day. Don't be so negative about your life that you were so graciously given. I know some people don't have a really great lives and are, you know, have to be at home all the time and have huge chronically medical issues. But I also know people that have chronic medical issues that... You know, my friend of mine that had breast cancer, she hated being referred to as, I share this in videos, she hated being referred to as a survivor. She didn't like that word. And she said, I'm a person living with cancer. Don't call me a survivor. I don't like that word. And, you know, she did everything that her doctor suggested and whatever. And she had breast cancer and she had double mastectomy and it spread. And, you know, she lived 7 years. And that entire 7 years, I don't think I ever heard her complain one time. Not one time. Did she ever complain about the 9 million doctors that she had to go to, the hospital stays that she went to? I never heard her complain about anything. Every time I talked to her, she'd be like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And, you know, her style changed. She was like, I'm going to start wearing everything that I want to wear that I've never worn for the last 30 years because I felt like as a mom and a wife, I shouldn't wear these kind of things. I'm going to wear fun things. I'm going to wear, you know, I'm going to go places, you know, and she learned to scuba dive, started scuba diving and all that stuff. She did so much fun stuff. And I look at her as an inspiration for living, you know. She died living. She didn't die miserable. And, there are so many people out there that have it so much worse than I have it, so much worse than you'll ever have it, or any of us ever will, that don't ever complain. They live their lives with grace. And those are role models to me. I want to live a life of grace, you know? And I don't want to have a negative attitude about the world. And so if you're somebody out there that sees the world that way, it just started raining like crazy. It's like all coming up over me. If you're somebody out there like that, I feel for you. I don't know, like, somebody tagged me in, I never know if I want to, like, if people, there's a couple people that watch my vlogs that DM me, like, all the time. I know Tia doesn't care, but there's a couple other people, I don't know if they want to be called out by name. But Tia said something funny in my vlog the other day. What'd she say? I was gonna call her out for that. But there's a couple people that DM me, like, all the time and say stuff to me. And, there's one woman that watches my vlog, watches all my channels, I adore her. She's very, very sweet. She knows who she is. And, she, like, she constantly tags me in these memes and stuff like that. These quotes, you know? And she like, sent me this thing the other day, and it said something about, like, miserable and unhappy people aren't mad at you, and they're not even jealous of you. Maybe it wasn't her that tagged me in it. They're not mad at you and they're not jealous at you. They're mad at themselves because they aren't allowing themselves to live the life they could have. And I think that's really true, you know? It's like, I've been really down in the dumps before. I've been really like, couldn't get off this front porch. Like, woe is me. Like, what's the point? I've been that way 20 years ago. You know, I was like that as a kid at times. And I feel like I wasted a lot of time doing that. I want to embrace life, you know? I want to embrace life, and I want to enjoy my life. And I'm not telling anyone not to leave sarcastic, snarky comments, but when every comment is like that, I'm telling you, your jokes aren't falling. They just aren't. And it doesn't bother me really to the point where, this is where people are like, well, you talked about it for 20 minutes. I'm talking about it for 20 minutes because I'm confused by it. I think this is gonna, I've been clocking those stops about 5 minutes away, haven't I? But anyway, I wouldn't even say it confuses me. It just kind of makes me sad for the person because they're not nasty comments. And they're people that have watched me for a long time. They've been very supportive of me. But it's just like every comment, it's like, they're not hate comments. They're not that at all. They're just, it reminds me of people that I've known. My mom had the ability to be this person at periods of her life. It's definitely before she got sober. Where it just was like, the glass was always half empty instead of half full. And I fell into that for a very long time of my life where I saw, oh, here comes my neighbor. Where I saw the glass as half empty instead of half full. And you're wasting life doing that, you know? You're wasting life doing that, you know? Do something that makes you happy. And the reality is, I know some people will be like, well, complaining makes you happy, or doing this makes you happy. Does it really? Like, I don't know. Maybe it does it really? I don't know. I don't feel fulfilled and happy when I'm complaining about things. You know, it was like, I did this video the other day about the solar eclipse, and honestly, yesterday actually, yes, you know, honestly, before the eclipse, all these people were like, I saw people online that were like, I feel like we live in this very sarcastic, cynical world today, right? And I saw these people, my dad's very much this way. I mean, he's very sarcastic. But my dad has humor to it, so you can tell the difference, right? Like, if my dad, you know, we didn't even talk about the eclipse, but, like, if we did, I mean, he probably would have been like, oh, yeah, it was really cool, you know? But, like, my dad with, like, fireworks that he's seen 9 million times, he's like, ooh, ah, like, this is so, I mean, my dad could care less if he saw another firework as long as he lives. There's a difference, right? But I saw all these people, well, somebody commented on my vlog, and they were like, I don't know what the big deal is with the eclipse, because where I live, I don't know where you live, I wish I did, but where I live, you can see it like every other year or whatever. They always say there's not going to be another one for, well, first of all, those are scientific things, so I don't know how they say there's not going to be another one for 40 years and then there's one next year. That's not how it works. Like, there's total solar eclipses, there's partial solar eclipses, there's all different kinds of eclipses, but like the total solar eclipse only happens like every once in a while, and it only happens in certain areas of the world at certain times. So like in Indiana, like we were talking yesterday, it's not going to happen until 2044 again, or 2045. So a lot of the people today, especially in my neighborhood, and probably myself, we may never see it again, right? And the last time, one of my neighbors was saying the last time it happened was in the 1800s, a total polar eclipse, a total solar eclipse, and maybe in just this area is what they were talking about. I don't know. I had never seen it before. I don't remember ever seeing it before. I do kind of, as a kid, remember doing something with like, maybe it was just for science class, where you took like made like a shoebox, put black paper in and a pinhole. Do you guys remember that? But anyway, I was like, I just remember the comment that they left me about, see again, another like negative comment about the eclipse. And I'm just like, I don't understand your point of view being so negative. Maybe it's just you're like, I think a lot gets lost in translation. I've said that a lot, which is why a lot of times I don't, you know, block people and whatever. But anyway, you know, I was reading online, like, before it, and a lot of people were saying things like, oh, I could care less about the eclipse, who cares, it's not that big of a deal, like, you know, whatever. There was a lot of comments like that. And to be honest with you, I really almost kind of fed into it. It was almost part of the reason why I wasn't, like, down at... It was almost kind of part of the reason... I thought it was somebody shouting down the street. It was almost part of the reason why I wasn't down at the pool when it first opened. Because I just was like... I mean, I kind of thought maybe I should just show up there right at 2 o'clock when it's open, everybody's there, you know, whatever. But it was part of kind of the reason why I was hesitant. Because I was like, is it corny? Is it cheesy? And I've shared this story before, but I haven't shared it for a long time. When I started on BookTube, so they'll have readathons. They don't do them as much anymore, but I think there are like a lot of different ones now. But there used to be big ones. And there was this big one that was called BookTubeathon years ago. They don't have it anymore because of some stuff that happened, but that's a whole other story. So there was this huge readathon every year, and it was called BookTubeathon. And BookTubeathon, it was run by these two girls, and it would have like 7 categories. You would read like 7 books. You were trying to like read as much as you possibly could in a week, right? And so it was like every year they would have a theme, and they would have like read a book that has yellow on the cover, read a book that takes place in the 1800s, read a book that has LGBTQIA plus representation, read a book that has own voices. It would be like every year was something different. And I think the first year that I did it, because one of the questions was, read a book to movie adaptation. Like, read a book that's been adapted into a movie. And so I was like, I'm going to pick all books that have been adapted into movies. That was the year that I read Jaws by Peter Benchley and all this kind of stuff. I was like, it was either the first year or the second year that I did that. I was like, I'm going to read all books that have been adapted into movies. I was so excited about it. Leading up to it, they were doing videos like, what BookTubeathon, is it Bookathon or BookTubeathon? BookTubeathon. What BookTubeathon snacks are you buying? Like, I was buying coffee and tea and chai and little cookies, and I was so excited about it. It was when I had the bench out here. Remember the swinging white bench that I used to have? And I was so excited about it. I had already picked out my books. I had done my video about it, about announcing the books that I was going to read. And it was like, you know, the first time, I was, at the time, what, 46 or something like that? It was 45, 46. It was the first time I'd ever participated in something like that. Like, I'm almost getting kind of, every time I tell a story, I get kind of teary-eyed about it. But I was like super, super excited about it. And I remember it started on a Sunday at midnight. And so, I think it was on a Sunday at midnight or a Monday at midnight. But whatever it was, it started at midnight. And I was like, I'm going to be sitting out here. I'm going to put all my books into Goodreads. Like, as soon as it starts, I'm going to be like, and they would have these reading sprints. So, they would say like, and different people would monitor it, and they would say, okay, from 12 to 12:30, read as much as you can, and then tweet out how much you've read, and all this kind of stuff. Or use an emoji, and like, I can remember I put some shark emoji up or something, or like, put an emoji up of the book that you're reading right now. It was real fun, right? It was just get everybody involved in reading. And I was so excited about it, and I remember that we went out to dinner with Melissa and Jason that night, and Melissa and Jason and Alex were going downtown. This is why I feel like it started on a Sunday, and it started on Sunday at midnight, like going into Sunday. It was like Sunday to Sunday, I think. And Jason and Alex and Melissa were going downtown to hear a DJ afterwards, and I was coming home to start BookTubeathon at midnight, and I couldn't wait. And Alex knew how excited I was, and he was so supportive of it and stuff, right? And I remember we were out to dinner, and Melissa said something like, you're not coming with us or whatever, and I was like, no, and she was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know, I just don't feel like going. And I was like, in that moment, I was so embarrassed. I was like, this is so corny, like, why am I doing this? Nobody's going to understand it, it's not going to make sense to anybody, like, this is so corny. I'm 45 years old and I'm doing like a readathon, you know? Like, I can remember doing those readathons at the library, like in the summer, read as many books as you can, and you go, you know, the Caterpillar, you put your placement mark, and then at the end you get like a pizza or meal at McDonald's or an ice cream cone or something, right? But I had been watching BookTube for so long, and I wanted to participate in one of these readathons. I always wanted to go to like BookCon and stuff too, and I never have. And I was thinking about this last night. I was like, I would love to go to DragCon. Like, I've never been to DragCon, and I would love to go to DragCon. And I was like, why don't you just book tickets and go to DragCon this year? Like, that would be so fun. I think we're going to be on Alex's birthday trip. But I was like, why don't you just go this year? Like, Alex would love to go to DragCon, you know? Just go. Just book tickets and go. And I'm always like, no, because of this and because of that. And there's always people there and, you know, whatever. And, like, I get nervous around people and stuff. So I remember we were sitting there at dinner, and Melissa just kept on asking me questions. She's like, what are you doing tonight? Like, and Alex was like, babe, tell them. Like, you're excited about it. Tell them. And I was like, no. And I was like, he was like, tell them. They'll be. And Melissa and Jason didn't understand it. They didn't get, like, why I was being hesitant about it. And I was like, it's just corny. It's stupid. And so I told them finally what I was doing, and they were real excited for me. They were real supportive, you know? They always are. And Alex was like, on the way home, he was like, I don't know why you're embarrassed of this, like, whatever. He was like, you know, this is something that you love. You love to read. Step into it. Enjoy it. Like, that has been my husband always. He's always just like, you love something, step into it. Enjoy it, right? And so I got home, and I remember I was sitting out here on that, I used to have this white bench out here that swung. Remember that glider? And I had the books, and I had my cup of coffee, and I had my phone. I was like looking on Twitter for it because they were going to announce like when it started, right at midnight. And I was getting ready to put all my books into Goodreads and stuff. And I had this moment where I was like, "This is stupid. Don't do this. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you participating in this? This is stupid." You know, and all those people in my head that told me I'm stupid or I'm lame or I'm dumb or, you know, all those people that put you down, all of that, right? Like, I let that get in my head in that moment. And I almost was just like getting ready to walk my books inside and be like, this is stupid, don't do this. And I remember I like looked down at my phone and it was like midnight. And I was like, oh my God. And I just started it. And you know, I had a blast that week. And I did Booktubeathon like the next 2 years in a row, 2 or 3 years. And I did Spookathon. I got to host Spookathon one year. And I had, which was like a Halloween one. And I had such a blast doing readathons. And I'm so grateful that I did it. I'd love to do another one, you know. I haven't looked into them in a long time. What's that one booktuber, Little Al, Katrina? She used to put like a list up of all the readathons. I need to actually look up that and see if there's some summer readathons, spring or summer readathons coming up. There used to be like the Dewey's 48-hour one. But readathons, if anybody knows of any readathons, put it in the comment section below that are coming up because I would love to do one. But that was a really good lesson for me to not let somebody else's perception of you, which nobody else had a perception of me, I had this perception of me, but to not, what you think other people are going to think of you, if you think people are going to think you're corny or lazy or stupid or dumb or mean or whatever, you know, or whatever. Don't let what other people think about you is none of your business, period, in the story. And I fall into that trap all the time. It's so hard for me, right? So, you know, I'm reading all this stuff online about the solar eclipse, and all these people are like, oh my God, it's so silly. Why are people getting so excited about this and whatever? And I stepped into it, I walked down to the pool, and I just had such a blast, you know, and I was telling Tommy this last night. I think part of it, for me, that was, because I talked to her, she was like, wasn't it amazing? I was like, it was amazing. She was at the kennel and stuff like that with all of her workers, and Eric came over, and she had a blast, and she said the whole woods got dark, and all the birds, she said the birds got quiet, because it was, I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. But it was so eerie, you know, and it was so cool and amazing and spiritual. So many people in my video said it was such a spiritual experience, you know. And I was telling Tanya that the collective experience of all of us sitting down there at the pool, all of us looking up together and just being like, isn't this amazing, like in that one moment, you know. And it was a moment, it was a shared moment. It was a moment like of me living in the present moment. Like, it was a moment for me, and I'm so grateful that I did it. I'm so grateful that I stepped into that moment, and I appreciated that moment, you know, and didn't like, took a few pictures, yeah, but I was like, should I try to film it? I was like, no, just enjoy it, you know, and I actually went down there, and I did it. And it was funny because on my video yesterday, I can't remember what the comment was exactly, but somebody commented and said, thank you so much for saying what you said in this video. It was on my Peter Does Stuff channel. They said, thank you so much for saying what you said in this video, because it really was amazing. It was just a simple comment like that. I was like, it really was amazing. You know, it really was. And I can remember my mom would get so excited about stuff. Like that she loved, like I say this, she loved hazelnut. There wasn't a lot of flavored coffee around back in the day. You know, I mean, you could put flavoring in coffee, but she loved hazelnut coffee. And she'd be like, it's hazelnut. She gets so excited about that. Or, you know, a beautiful spring day. Or, you know, wildflowers out in the woods. And she'd pick them and put it in a vase. My mom was somebody that got so excited about all the small things in life. And it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to step into it. And sometimes the people that are enjoying life the most, the people that are stepping into it, are, I think, often what we perceive as the weirdest. They don't make a lot of sense. We don't understand why people like them, why people, you know, are attracted to them or find them interesting. And oftentimes we're off-put by them, or they make us uncomfortable. And I think it's because what I know now is that I've never felt until recently comfortable just to step into who I am as myself, unapologetically. Take me or leave me, you know? And that is what has felt so uncomfortable to me. but at the same time, really attractive to people like that when I've met them and they've been in my life, because I wanted that for myself, you know? So find enjoyment and love in the small things and the simple things in life. Enjoy life as much as you possibly can. Even the rain out here, you know? Even the rain smells so good. It smells very earthy right now. And the sound of the rain in the drain pipe and the birds chirping. Can wear shorts out here on the front porch. Life is good. All right, well, I'm gonna get off here and get ready and get this vlog going so that it can be uploading while I'm gone. And yeah, life is so good, isn't it? And if you're going through something tough today, I feel for you. I'm sending you prayers and positivity and love. And this too shall pass, and the sun will rise again. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you.